Every time Alexandra Eala wins big or loses a tough match to a top player, the internet goes crazy with the same tired story. The clickbait articles flood in, tennis insiders start tweeting, and thumbnails scream things like "Alex Eala needs a supercoach," or "Why won't she fire Joan Bosch?" I'm recording this right now, unscripted, because we need to have a blunt, honest conversation about coaching on the pro tennis tour. I'm going to break down why her decision to stick with her team is actually the smartest move she could make. Let's look at what's happening in women's tennis right now. The WTA has developed a toxic, panic-driven coaching culture. Top players treat their coaches like they're disposable. A player loses early at a slam, panics, fires their coach, and immediately hires some big-name coach with a huge ego and a massive price tag. We see it every month. Players jump from coach to coach hoping a famous name will fix their second serve or calm their nerves. The media loves it because it creates drama and headlines. The tennis media looks at Alexandra, sees her huge fan base, rising ranking and big sponsorships, and can't understand why she isn't playing along. They think a superstar needs a superstar coach. They're making up rumors about her turning down big offers because they can't wrap their heads around loyalty in a sport driven by panic and money. But you need to understand who Joan Bosch actually is to her. He's not some random guy hired 6 months ago to look at her stats. When Alexandra was 13 years old, when she left her family in the Philippines and moved across the world to the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Joan Bosch was already there. He helped build her game from the ground up. Think about what it's like being a 13-year-old girl in a foreign country, alone, going through the brutal daily grind of that academy. 5 hours of training a day, physical pain, academic pressure, giving up a normal childhood. Through all of that, Joan Bosch was the guy on the other side of the net. He wasn't there when the cameras showed up. He wasn't there when Nike came calling. He was there when she was just a kid with a big lefty swing trying to hold it together on the practice court. In pro tennis, trust is the most valuable thing you can have. Tennis is the loneliest sport in the world. On court, you're on your own. No timeouts, no substitutions. When you're down a break in the deciding set, lungs burning, crowd roaring, and your mind starts to panic, you have one thing to hold on to. You look up at your player's box. When Alexandra looks up there, she doesn't need a celebrity. She needs the man who knows exactly where her breaking point is, because he's the one who helped her push past it when she was 14. She needs someone who knows exactly what to say or not say to get her focused again. You can't buy that kind of trust. It has to be built through years of shared struggle. Every single time Alexandra Eala has a big win or drops a hard match against a top player, the internet loses its mind with the exact same tired, predictable story. The clickbait articles start pouring in, the tennis insiders fire up their Twitter fingers, and the YouTube thumbnails go up screaming things like, "Alexandra Eala desperately needs a supercoach," or "Why is she still refusing to fire Joan Bosch?" Or "She turned down $1 million coaching offer and here's why that's a mistake." I am hitting record right now, completely unscripted, no notes, no teleprompter, because we need to sit down and have a very serious, very real, and completely unfiltered conversation about the truth behind coaching on the professional tennis tour. I'm going to take this narrative apart piece by piece and explain clearly why her decision to stay loyal to the team that built her is not just smart. It is actually one of the most mature and well-thought-out decisions any young player in the sport has made in years. So let's start by looking at the bigger picture of what is actually happening inside women's tennis right now, because the coaching situation on the WTA Tour has become genuinely toxic. It has turned into a panic-driven revolving door that is doing real damage to players' development and long-term careers. You see talented top 20 players treating their coaches like they are completely disposable. One bad loss at a Grand Slam, one rough stretch of results, and suddenly the coach is gone, fired, and immediately replaced by whoever has the biggest name, the loudest reputation, and the highest price tag attached to them. We watch it play out over and over again every single month. Players bouncing from one famous coach to the next, convinced that a recognizable name sitting in their player's box is going to somehow magically fix their second serve, cure their nerves, or unlock the next level of their game overnight. The media absolutely loves this cycle because it generates drama. It generates headlines, it generates clicks, and it creates the illusion that something exciting and meaningful is happening when really it is just chaos dressed up as progress. And the tennis media has turned its attention to Alexandra. They see the massive fan base she has built. They see the sponsorship deals, the rising ranking, the growing profile. And their brains simply cannot process why she is not playing the same game everyone else is playing. In their minds, a superstar player needs a superstar coach. Someone with Grand Slam rings, a verified social media account, and a roster of famous clients. They have started inventing and spreading rumors about her turning down enormous offers from elite coaches, because they genuinely cannot understand why loyalty would exist in a sport that runs almost entirely on panic and money. But here is what all of these people are completely missing, and it is the most important part of this entire conversation. Joan Bosch is not some guy who showed up recently with a laptop full of data and a glossy coaching resume. You have to go back and look at where this relationship actually started. When Alexandra was just 13 years old, when she packed her bags, said goodbye to her family in the Philippines, and flew thousands of miles across the world to join the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Joan Bosch was already there. He did not discover her after she broke into the top 50. He was not brought in when the results started getting attention. He was there at the very beginning, when she was just a young girl far from home trying to survive one of the most demanding tennis programs on the planet. Stop and really think about what that experience is like. You are 13 years old. You are in a foreign country. You do not have your parents with you every day. You are going through 5 hours of daily training, physical exhaustion that pushes you to your absolute limit, academic pressure on top of all of it, and the constant psychological weight of knowing you have given up a normal childhood for a dream that might not even work out. That is an enormous amount of pressure for a young person to carry. And through every single one of those hard mornings, through the blisters and the self-doubt and the moments where she probably wanted to quit and go home, Joan Bosch was the person standing on the other side of the net. He was not there for the cameras. He was not there for the sponsorships. He was there when she was just a kid with a heavy lefty swing and a whole lot of heart trying to figure out if she was good enough. That history matters more than most people realize. In professional tennis, trust is the single most valuable and hardest to find currency that exists. Tennis is genuinely the loneliest sport in the world. When you walk out onto that court, there is no team around you. There is no coach you can call over during a timeout. There is no teammate to take the pressure off you for a moment. When you are down in the deciding set, when your lungs are on fire, when the crowd is loud, and when your own mind starts working against you, you have one thing to reach for. You look up into your player's box. When Alexandra looks up into that box, she does not need to see a famous name. She does not need to see someone who is already thinking about their next broadcast deal or their next high-profile client. She needs to see the person who has been with her since before any of this existed. The person who knows exactly where her limit is because he was there when she first found it at 14 years old and helped her push through it anyway. Someone who knows precisely what to say to bring her back, and just as importantly, knows exactly when to say nothing at all. That depth of understanding between a player and a coach is not something you can put a price on. Cannot be rushed. Cannot be manufactured. It has to be built slowly, over years, through shared struggle, shared failure, and shared growth. And that is exactly what Alexandra and Joan Bosch have. That is why she is not going anywhere. And honestly, that is why she should not.